Good morning, children. Today we shall do a lesson in the prose section. Our topic for today is Three Visions for India. The lesson Three Visions for India is taken as an extract from the inaugural speech that was delivered by Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam at the Indian Institute of Technology. It throws light upon the manner in which he envisions the future of India. He enlists the three visions that he holds for the country, which are freedom, development, and the ability of India to stand up to the world. As a missile scientist, Dr. Kalam was able to witness the transformation of India up close. India's progress and achievements have made him positive about the development and utilization of great potential in the country. So let us go deep into the chapter and study and learn Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam's three visions for India. Warming up exercise. The first question: read the preamble of the Constitution of India given in your textbook. Pick out words that refer to the following. Children, you will write the answers to this with the pencil in your textbook itself. The first one, brotherhood. You will write fraternity. Second, freedom. Answer, liberty. Third, earnestly and seriously. You will write solemnly. The fourth, fair and impartial treatment. Answer, equality. Fifth, having supreme authority. Answer, sovereign. The sixth one, unity and oneness. You will write, we the people of India. And the last one, a promise made to oneself. Answer, resolve. Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, the father of India's integrated guided missile program, states three visions for India based on the achievements and progress that he has witnessed in the history of the nation and during his own career as a missile scientist. The meaning of integrated is the act or process of combining two or more things so that they can work together. Now, what is the Integrated Guided Missile Program? This program was launched by the Indian Ministry of Defense in the year 1982 to 83. This project was headed by Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam and it dealt with research and development of missiles. It was successfully completed in the year 2008 with the development of 5 missiles. They were the Prithvi, Agni, Trishul, Akash and Nag, all of which were later admitted to the Indian Army. Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam therefore is also called as the Missile Man of India. Here he states of having three visions for India. What is a vision? A vision is a dream or an ideal. And all these visions are based on India's achievements and progress, which Dr. Kalam has seen in the past events and also during his career as a missile scientist. Textual question: what helped Dr. Kalam fixed the three visions for India? Answer: Dr. Kalam fixed the three visions for India based on the achievements and progress that he has witnessed in the history of the nation and during his own career as a missile scientist. Children, kindly write down the meanings and question answers discussed in the slides. Dr. Kalam's three visions for India are freedom, development, and standing up, where the meaning of standing up means being brave and facing challenges. The focus of his presentation is on developing India to its fullest potential. The meaning of potential is capacity or ability, while standing up to the rest of the world with fully validated self respect. That means the meaning of validated is confirmed with proof. So, a validated self respect is a self respect that is confirmed with proof for the achievements that have been obtained in the modern times. So, here Dr. Kalam's three visions for India have been stated, and they are freedom, development, and standing up. Now, his focus upon these three visions was to develop India to its fullest capacity, and at the same time, India must also stand up with full proof self respect of all the achievements obtained by our country in these modern times. If we are not free, no one will respect us. I have three visions for India. In 3000 years of our history, people from all over the world have come and invaded us, captured our land, and conquered our minds. From Alexander onwards, the Greeks, the Portuguese, the British, the French, the Dutch, all of them came and looted us and took over what was ours. The meaning of the phrase took over means took the authority of. So, in this passage, Dr. Kalam talks about many rulers that invaded and came to our country only to capture our land and to exploit our people. The ruling powers mentioned by him are the Greeks, the Portuguese, the British, the French, and the Dutch. And all of them came to our country, simply looted us, took advantage of us, and took with them what was ours. Yet, we have not done this to any other nation. We have not conquered anyone. The meaning of conquered means to acquire by force or use of arms. We have not grabbed their land, their culture, and their history, nor tried to force our way of life on them. Why? Because we respect the freedom of others. This passage tells us that India, in spite of being exploited by various invaders, Indians have never treated any country in a similar manner. We have not done this to any nation. India has never tried to use force, arms, weapons, and ammunitions to snatch away land of another region. We have never done this because we highly respect the freedom of others. That is why my first vision for India is freedom. I believe that India had its first vision of freedom in 1857 when we started the War of Independence. It is this freedom that we must protect and nurture and build on, where the meaning of nurture is to develop. If we are not free, no one will respect us. Here, Dr. APJ Kalam stresses the importance of freedom, his first vision for India. But he goes further and says, actually, this vision of freedom for India is not something of the now, but it dates back in the year 1857. The revolt took about by the Indians in this year was the conscious beginning of struggle for independence against the British. It is known as the First War of Independence. Now, children, think and understand how important is freedom to us. It was because of the efforts of so many freedom fighters that today we are no more under the British rule. But you must be wondering that now India is not under any colonial power. Then aren't we free? No, children, we still have to be free from the clutches of various social evils in our country, such as inequality, injustice, dowry, and various others. We still have to attain freedom in this arena. And so Dr. Kalam says that this freedom should be protected and nurtured. Textual question: how should we handle our freedom? Answer: we should protect and nurture our freedom and build on it. My second vision for India is development. For 50 years, we have been a developing nation. It is time to see ourselves as a developed nation. We are among the top 5 nations of the world in terms of gross domestic product, GDP. The meaning of it is the total value of goods and services produced domestically in a country in a year. We have 10% growth rate in most areas. So here Dr. Kalam states his second vision for India, that is development. He says that in spite of 50 years of freedom, India has remained a developing nation. Dr. Kalam wants everyone to look at India as a developed country instead of a developing nation. He supports his statement with evidence by proudly saying that India has leaped with a 10% growth rate that can be noticed in most areas, be it agriculture, technology, medicine, etc. It is time that India must be recognized as a developed nation. Our poverty levels are falling and our achievements are being globally recognized today. The meaning of recognized means noticed and accepted all over the world. Yet we lack the self confidence to see ourselves as a developed nation, self reliant and self assured. Isn't this right? The meaning of self reliant means self dependent. So, this passage further states where India is improving. It states that the country's level of poverty is decreasing, and today the world is recognizing India for her achievements. But we Indians are failing in one aspect. That is, we lack self confidence to view our country as a developed nation. Dr. Kalam wants us Indians to first consider and believe India to be a developed nation, that we are self reliant and self assured. We are not dependent on other nations for our progress and achievements. Indians have it all. In this way, children, Dr. Kalam wants you and me to have this vision of India being a developed nation. India must stand up to the world. I have a third vision, that India must stand up to the world or no one will respect us. Only strength respects strength. We must be strong not only as a military power but also as an economic power. Both must go hand in hand. Here, Dr. Kalam states his third vision for India, that is, India must stand up to the standards created by the world, or no one will respect us. Dr. Kalam strongly believes that only strength respects strength. And so he says that India must be equally strong, both as a military power and an economic power. Textual question: what are the characteristics of a developed nation? Answer: a developed nation has to be self reliant and self assured. It needs to stand up to the world. It must be strong not only as a military power but also as an economic power. Why are we in India so embarrassed to recognize our own strength, our achievements? We are such a great nation. We have so many amazing success stories, but we refuse to acknowledge them. Why? The meaning of acknowledge is to show recognition of. We are the second largest producer of wheat in the world. We are the second largest producer of rice. We are the first in milk production. In this passage, Dr. Kalam again poses a question before us. Why are we in India so embarrassed to recognize our own strength, our achievements? Again, Dr. Kalam points out to us that even after so many achievements, we Indians have blinded ourselves, that we fail to recognize our own strengths and achievements. He says that we have so many success stories dated back in the past that are amazing as well as inspiring. Yet, we don't show recognition of them. We just forget. Again, he asks us why. Dr. Kalam wants us to be in the consciousness of our strengths and achievements, as he states certain facts, that India is the second largest producer of wheat in the world, second largest producer of rice, and first in milk production. He wants us to be proud of these facts. We are number one in remote sensing satellites. Remote sensing satellites are man-made satellites launched into space for communication, weather forecast, etc. Look at Dr. Sudarshan. He has transferred the tribal village into a self-sustaining, self-driving unit. The meaning of self-sustaining is providing for one's needs, and self-driving is controlling oneself. There are millions of such achievements, but our media is focused only with bad news and failures and disaster. Now, Dr. Sudarshan is a well known social worker. He is known for his contributions to the upliftment of the forest dwelling tribes, mainly the Solegas, in the Chamaraja Nagar district of Karnataka. In this passage, Dr. Kalam further notifies us about our achievements. He tells us that India is number one in remote sensing satellites. He also gives us a living example of other achievements. He tells us to look at Dr. Sudarshan. Now, what did Dr. Sudarshan do? He transformed a tribal village into a self sustaining and self driving unit. Now, children, do you know the problems faced by the tribal villages? They face problems such as health and nutrition, no proper homes and facilities, lack of education, poverty, etc. But with the help of Dr. Sudarshan, the forest dwelling tribes in the district of Karnataka were transformed. Dr. Kalam here wants the media to play a very major role. In spite of so many achievements, our media focuses on bad news and failures and disasters. But Dr. Kalam wants the media to broadcast positive and inspiring stories so that people will start working towards a better end. Textual question: what are the drawbacks of us Indians? Answer: we in India are embarrassed to recognize our own strength and our achievements. We lack self confidence. Being such a great nation with so many amazing success stories, we refuse to acknowledge them. We are only obsessed with bad news, failures, and disasters. Do we not realize that self respect comes with self reliance? I was in Tel Aviv once and I was reading the Israeli newspaper. It was the day after a lot of attacks and bombardments and deaths had taken place. The Hamas had struck. Here, Dr. Kalam is narrating an incident of his life. He says that once he was in Tel Aviv, which is a city in Israel, and he was reading the Israeli newspaper. And it was a day when Israel faced a lot of attacks where there were bombardments and even death. And this was caused by the Hamas. Now, the Hamas is a militant organization and they attacked Israel as part of the ongoing Arab Israeli conflict. Textual question: what is the prerequisite of self respect? Answer: the prerequisite of self respect is self reliance. But the front page of the newspaper had the picture of a Jewish gentleman who in 5 years had transformed his desert land into an orchid farm and granary. It was this inspiring picture that everyone woke up to. The gory details, The meaning of gory means involving in bloodshed and violence. The gory details of killings, bombardments, and deaths were inside the newspaper, buried among other news. Isn't it possible in our country? In this passage, Dr. Kalam continues narrating his incident. He says about what he saw in the newspaper. Now, among all the crises that Israel was facing, the front page of the newspaper had a different news printed on it. The news was about a Jewish gentleman who had transformed a desert land into an orchid farm and granary. This was the positive news. And all the negative news of killings and bombardments were hidden inside the pages of the newspaper. Dr. Kalam saw such positivity among the people of Israel. He questions us. Isn't it possible in our country? Can't India also begin to focus on good things of our country? I'm sure we can. I want to live in a developed India. Another question. Why are we, as a nation, so obsessed with foreign things? The meaning of obsessed with means preoccupied with. We want foreign TVs, we want foreign shirts, we want foreign technology. Why this obsession with everything imported? Do we not realize that self respect comes with self reliance? Here again, Dr. Kalam has a question for us. Why are we as a nation so obsessed with foreign things? By posing such a question to us, Dr. Kalam expresses his reproach for us Indians that we have an obsession for all imported things, and we tend to overlook the value of Indian made goods. His next question: do we not realize that self respect comes with self reliance? Indicates that we must realize now the value of being self reliant. He wants Indians to make use of goods produced in our own country rather than depending upon goods imported from foreign nations. In doing so, we will be less dependent upon other nations and be a self sufficient country. As India will then be a country where people will look up to, as self respect only comes with self reliance. Textual question: what foreign stuff are we Indians crazy about? Answer: we Indians are crazy about foreign TVs, shirts, and technology. I was in Hyderabad giving this lecture when a 14-year-old girl asked me for my autograph. I asked her what her goal in life is. She replied, I want to live in a developed India. For her, you and I will have to build this developed India. You must proclaim. The meaning of proclaim is declare confidently to all. So now Dr. Kalam was in Hyderabad giving a lecture. A 14-year-old girl asked him for an autograph, and he asked her what was her goal in life, to which she replied that she wanted to live in a developed India. Dr. Kalam concludes by saying that this goal of the little girl has to be achieved by all of us. Textual question: what is the dream of the 14-year-old girl in Hyderabad? Answer: the dream of the 14-year-old girl in Hyderabad was to live in a developed India. So, children, with this, we finish with the lesson of three visions for India. In the next class, I will be discussing with you the English workshop. This was all for now. Thank you and take care.